Afternoon, Badgers, afternoon. Well, there's been a lot of talk about the American election, obviously. And, you know, you got to look at the trend across the world at the moment. I mean, across the Western world, to be fair. But, across Europe, the right are convincing people with fantasies because the left are, whilst yes, it's important to champion these bigger picture issues, and I really wish that the average voter would actually care about the bigger picture issues because it affects their like individual lives. They just don't see it. They just don't see it, and it seems on voting days people really just don't care. They care about their own pocket, despite the fact that the bigger picture will affect their own pocket. But again, they don't care. So when the right sell them a bunch of lies that sound more believable than the actual reality, they go for the lies. They go for the fantasy. It's been made blatantly obvious in America and across Europe. Now, even here in the UK, like the Labour Party have had to tack further right than they want to because the average voter is socially further right than than most would expect. It's really disappointing, like that our population is that fucking stupid. But that's the material conditions we have to deal with. So in doing that, we have to for me, I have to now make sea level rise preparations and climate change preparations feel real to these people. Now here on the coast, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But for people inland, it's going to be a much bigger problem. People will ignore these big warnings until the bad shit happens and then go, oh, but why didn't you fucking tell me? No, we've been telling them the entire time. And that's because for that entire time, they haven't believed you. Like most people cannot conceive the worst thing in the world actually happening. They can probably conceive, they can probably, think it up, but they can't actually conceive it actually happening in their lifetimes. It's like people in before the Second World War, people would refuse to believe that another world war would happen again. People refused to believe that Hitler would do what he did, and then he did it, and then people were like, oh shit. We can try to be as proactive as we can, but we still, ultimately, by the looks of it, have to deal with reaction. So, there's also the thing about rejoining the EU. If we're going to make this politically viable in the UK, especially in England and Wales, then we're going to have to show how this is affecting people in their pockets directly. Because it is. But people aren't really getting it. And people, not only that, but I do keep trying to bring this up, and I do keep bringing it up, but people just don't want to rehash the Brexit argument. It was so damaging that people just don't want to talk about it. And that's bad because it means we can't deal with the problem and then move forwards. Because people aren't willing to fucking talk about it. They think, like Boris Johnson said, Brexit is done, even though it isn't. And it won't be for a long time, if ever. But, they were sold the simple lie, and they're like, it's also harder to convince someone that they're wrong, especially when they've been proved wrong. The average person it sounds counterintuitive, but seriously, most people don't really don't like admitting they're wrong. Like, I will admit when I'm wrong, but I have to be proven that I'm wrong. But most people, even then, like if they're proven that they're wrong, they're blindly going, nope, this is what I believe and that's it. What about science? I don't care about science. This is what I believe and that's it. Why can't I believe what I believe and you believe what you believe? So where does fact come in? But people, again, then people don't like being, called stupid. Now, to an extent, I've given up on the civility politics. If people have got stupid politics, I'm going to call them out as fucking stupid. But at the same time, I am thinking that I will have to tailor my arguments to make them relative to people's individual issues, with their cost of living issues, for example, is the main one. And they're told that immigrants are the problem. They're not, but they're told that immigrants are the problem. They're told that, this woke culture is the problem. It's not, but they're told it is. And the left has this problem where its narrative is so ununified. Disunified? However you want it. And it's dysfunctional. This is a big problem with us. Like, because we have such principle, because we are such principled people, we cannot. The problem with having such of being really principled, is that you can't adapt so well. Because I compare it to the natural world, where more specialized animals, more specialized organisms, find it harder to adapt than more generalist organisms. This is seen throughout the paleontological record, and is seen now. I can directly compare that to the way people think, because of the amount of people that there are, and the diversification of the way that people think. The left, because of its principles, it almost rejects evolving. It can't compromise, therefore it can't evolve. Or at least it can't evolve to a point where we, like the right have, where they can group together these disparate groups into this whole that convince people, at least in the moment, that this is the way they should go. Make them believe the fantasy. The left has not gotten it. And I don't like this, but this is a fact. I think we really have to learn from that fact. You know, I'll take another argument. The badger culling, which I am a proponent against. I'm not a proponent for it. Sorry, I'm an activist against the badge culling. All hail the badger. Um, and like in one way, like yes, I will have a go at farmers who continue to say, oh no, but we need to do the badger culling. But at the same time, I will also as much as I'll have a go, I will actually try to think up logical arguments as to why it doesn't benefit them. Why it would be more beneficial to use vaccines. You know, you don't have to kill the fuckers. It's a blunt instrument method that doesn't need to be used. It's unnecessary. But you need to convince we need to convince the farmers about this. And some are. This is why I think that my argument here is correct. It's because some are now being, like, you show them the actual evidence of, not of them being proved wrong, but of how it can benefit them. Because vaccinating the badgers, it also helps their livestock. You show them how it's beneficial. Not just, I think I'm looking for, that's it. I was looking for a simple way to put it. Carrot and stick. And there's too much stick. Now, don't get me wrong. In terms of weapons, you can never go wrong with a stick. Like, everything is a stick. But you need carrot. You need the carrot. You need the cake. Whatever. Whichever way you want to put it. You need to show the benefits, not just. This is also where the Remain campaign went wrong. They focused too much on the negatives when people were looking for positives. And that's another part of how Boris Johnson and co managed to fool over half of the voting population. Because people wanted positives, not negatives. And so often on the left, just so interested in the negatives. This is why when I want to talk about sea level rise and climate change, I do talk about the negative effects which are going to come, but I also try to, I'm building up my thought processes on how to move us forward, how to benefit us going forwards. Trying to talk about how, when building new houses, we should build them at a high enough altitude, so that when sea level rise does happen, we can benefit from not having to fucking move again. If we prepare for it now, then we won't have to suffer with it so much later. There's a benefit. You don't the left needs to think about how it presents the information. I think after all this waffle, this is like what I've pretty much dug down to now. I think the left needs to think about how it presents the information, and so often it isn't positive, because so much of what's to come is not positive. They can't show any benefits as to their solves. Or at least they don't think to show the benefits of their solutions and their solves to these problems that we have now and will have going forwards. Let me know what you guys think. It's something that is becoming increasingly clear to me over not just this American election, but our election here in the UK, and watching the swing to the right in Europe. It's all very disturbing, and if you can't, delve into some interest, if the left can't do some introspection, the project's fucked. The progressivism is fucked if we can't do some introspection. Because of our principles, so often we just believe we're right. Now, I don't necessarily believe I'm right just off the bat. I go out and do my information research, and for the most part, I am right. But I always do consider I might be wrong, which is why I hold to an ideology of non-absolutism. Because if I am proven wrong, it then doesn't destroy my mind that I'm wrong, and I don't end up building up this fragile ego that is destroyed, that is so offended when I'm proven wrong. It's a more scientific outlook. Now, if you think I am wrong on this, come and have an argument with me. Come and have a debate with me. Come and have a conversation with me would be better. But just put yourself in the comments. Just have a chat, because I think this is a serious problem, and I don't know how many people are actually seeing this as a problem. Yeah. Blessed be Badgers. Let me know what you think of this. Please like, share, and badger that sub button. Blessed be. My shield at your backs, guys. Good will, good fate.